It was just a trial in 5 U.S. airports to have scanners that look through your clothes and record your naked body. Now it's going in 200, all the big 214, all the major airports. And now they announced yesterday they're going to put it on the streets of America looking through your clothes. I mean, my God, it's just a trial, David.
Yeah, it's just a trial. And this is what I call the totalitarian tiptoe, although it's not even the totalitarian tiptoe anymore. It's a totalitarian sprint. This is coming in so fast. And this is another point that I would say to people. I did make the point last time we talked. You know, people need to open their minds to the bigger picture of what's behind this, too, because when you look at the scale, the interconnected detail of all these different aspects of society and life and emotion and mind and all of it is being brought into this. You know, it's not a group of dark-suited men sitting around a table working this out. There is a vast conspiracy behind this, which is coordinating it all. And George Bush and Barack Obama and Gordon Brown are light years down the pyramid from the level it's coming out of, and the scale of technological advancement that is behind it. And we need to open our minds to the fact that, you know, this is above governments and it's above the people we see in the public arena. We've got to get really in the shadows before we're going to ever understand what the force is behind this that plays out through these people but doesn't originate with them.
Well, we know the tax-free foundations and congressional hearings have think tanks for every little aspect. Then they have these literal statistical and organizational geniuses who put it all together. But you're right. Then when you look at it, then you find out they're all occultist at the highest level of the pyramid. They're all into blood sacrifice. And we're not making this up, folks. This is mainstream. It comes out here and there. Richard Nixon talked about the homosexual orgies at Bohemian Grove. That's on tape, Harper's Magazine. I mean, there's a level at the top. They believe they are communicating with entities, and that's where me and David. I mean, David's deeper down the rabbit hole. I just go with what I can prove. But bottom line, David Icke on one side, the good guy side, and then the bad guys on the other dark side. They all believe they are under the control of entities.
Yeah, and you know, I was talking earlier today about the Rothschilds. Their name used to be called Bauer, and the Bauer family in Europe was a notorious, what they call a cult family. It was deeply into the black magic arts, and of course, the black magic is just the negative use of knowledge of how energy and consciousness works, and these people are really. Behind their banking front and their dark suit and tie front, these people are deep black magicians who have, in effect, cast a spell on the human collective mind. And that's why we talk about people need to wake up.
And by the way,
from that trance.
Look at all the Hollywood people with Kabbalah all over them. And then we always said 10, 15 years ago that Madonna's concerts were rituals, and then she came out 2 years ago and said, yes, they've always been. These are black magic rituals, basically.
Yeah, the thing is, we've got a conscious mind, which we obviously are consciously aware of all the time. And we've got a subconscious mind that we're not consciously aware of by definition. And these black magic arts and rituals
they know how to program
to the subconscious mind. That's their aim. And it's programming eventually, as it filters through, the conscious mind's perception of reality. And you know, all these structures like religion and all these institutions of belief and all these rigid belief systems that people have, they're all part of this imposition of a wall around our sense of possibility and our sense of what's happening and the nature of life itself.
Okay.
And if you can put someone in a mind prison called rigid, unyielding belief.
David, stay there. We got a break. Hey, David.
Part of themselves.
David, you're on a cell phone, aren't you?
No.
Okay, it's just when I talk, I don't think you can hear me. We had to go to break, but we're still live on the internet, so finish your thought. I just had to cut you off so you can continue. But before you finish up with putting them in that rigid control system, looking at the world, you know, through a straw so you can hardly see any of it while it's all, and keep you so close to the problem, you're like, what is this in front of me? I can't tell. But you take that off and pull back. Oh, it's a microphone. There it is. Now I can, oh my gosh, there's a computer right here. There's a light right there. Oh my God. You know, but let me...
can't stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1.
Your own personal Jesus.
He did a great talk at Oxford that I've seen, really shot beautifully. Excellent presentation. Get that DVD at davidicke.com. Just came out. Really interesting information, very thought-provoking. That's what matters, getting you outside the box, and then outside the other box, and then outside the next box you're in. David, finishing up, you were bringing up, before we went to that break, getting people to take the blinders off, literally, and just open their minds up and what that does. Continue.
The ancient Greek philosopher Socrates is quoted as saying, wisdom is knowing how little we know. And I always work with that because, in the vastness of forever, all possibility exists. And if we shut our minds from that by rigid beliefs that construct a limitation of what's possible, then we're operating on a fraction of our own potential and also a fraction of the knowledge and awareness that's available of who we are and the nature of what we're experiencing. So it doesn't mean that you open your mind and you say, I'll believe anything. It's quite not that at all. But it's opening to the possibility instead of a reflex action. No, I'm not going there. That can't be true because it's against my belief system. And there's this psychological state which explains so much about behavior, which is called cognitive dissonance. And it's a stress state and an unease state that people go in when their belief and their experience or information they come across are contradicting each other. Now, what the few people do is they look at the information and the experience and they say, hold on a second, I've got to have another look at my belief here because in the light of what I'm experiencing and seeing. And that is great because cognitive dissonance, then it's about bringing the contradictions together into a whole. Then you can move forward and your belief changes in the light of new information. But what most people do when they go into this cognitive dissonance state is that their prime motive is to preserve the belief system.
That's
so
right. In fact, they have invested, like Bill Hicks said, I've put a lot into this ride. Don't you tell me it doesn't matter.
Exactly that, and what they then do, and you see this all the time, is they then concoct stories. They lie to themselves to bring together an explanation of what they're experiencing and seeing and learning to make sure the belief system is retained.
They're delusional.
And that's when you get things like, oh, no, we've got to go to war to bring peace. Or, oh, no, we've got to have some of our freedoms taken away so that we can protect our liberties. This is cognitive dissonance, lying to itself or causing people to lie to themselves to protect the belief system.
Have you ever...
Belief systems need just to not control us anymore. Let's look at the evidence. Let's look at what we're seeing, and let's come to conclusions based on that. Not preconceived idea that the priest told us, or the politician told us, or the guy at the college told us.
Have you ever seen my film Terror Storm?
Sorry, Alex, my phone's gone funny. I didn't hear that.
Did you ever see my film Terror Storm? Because
well, no, you're still jumping around.
Okay.
Goodness me, what's wrong with the line here?
Okay, can you hear me, David?
No, I'm losing about every other word. I don't know what suddenly made that happen.
Okay, well, who knows?
I'll cut you now.
Okay, you can hear me.
Yep.
Have you ever seen my film Terror Storm?
I've looked at it a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's the part where the woman at the fruit shop outside says, I want to give up my liberty for freedom. And I said, but liberty and freedom are the same things. She's like, no, they're not. So, I mean, talk about doublethink. I won't give up my liberty for freedom. David Icke in the final 5-minute segment with him, then Bob Chapman, detailed analysis of the engineered economic implosion that is happening. Stay with us. All right, I'm going to skip this break, too. There's just 1 minute. David, we're going to come back in 1 minute. We'll have 5 minutes left, and I've got you set for the 6th of October at 11
to 1.
Yes, 11 to 1.
11 to 1, that's great.
11 to 1 Pacific time.
Yeah.
And that'll be from 1 to 3 Central Standard Time, but 11 to 1, and I'm really excited, and we'll just get into whatever you want to cover for 2 hours. That'll be an hour and a half of live airtime, so you are the best.
Yeah, I like to look at reality and how we create it and how we interact with it, because these guys know that, and they've kept it from us, and that's given them a prime center of power.
Absolutely. We're going to go live in about 30 seconds, and then I'll just let you go so you can hurry on your way at the end of the segment. I won't say bye. I'll say bye now. Thank you for coming on with us, David.
Cheers, Alex.
Okay, final segment right now. Here we go, my friend.